welcome to another edition of Wealth Without Borders podcast. And today I'm delighted to have on the show Daniel Albrecht. Welcome to the show, Daniel.
Hello, Howard. Great to be here today. Thank you for the invitation.
It's great to have you, Daniel. And where are you in the world and what is the weather like today?
I'm in cold Beijing and it is freezing, but much better than a week ago already.
Oh, well, I feel for you. It must be really, really cold there. But warming up and spring is soon upon us, right?
Be happy to stay in Shanghai. I would also like to change the location at the moment because I think the January is always one of the most uncomfortable months in the year here in Beijing.
Absolutely, yeah. So let's hope for March when things warm up. So for those of you who don't know Daniel, as he says, based in Beijing, Daniel's a German lawyer based in Beijing, China, and he specializes in several areas: trademark law, commercial law, as well as corporate and labor law. But today, for our benefit, he's going to focus on e-commerce law. And Daniel also assists his clients in drafting and negotiating complex contract documentations, and he advises international businesses on the acquisition or indeed the sale of public and private companies. And interestingly, Daniel's first professional encounter with China was back in 2004 as a law clerk. So I expect you've got some very interesting stories. We'll have to save those for another podcast because today we've just got 8 questions in 8 minutes. So are you ready to begin?
I'm ready.
Fantastic. So 8 minutes to go. Question number 1, who's your ideal client?
Actually, my ideal client is, let's say, European SME. And maybe it's a family-owned business with 50 to 500 employees. I think this is the core client base, what we working for and advising, actually. Okay. So from all over Europe, not only from German-speaking countries like Austria and Switzerland and Germany, we have also British, French, Belgian, Dutch clients, so actually quite a lot. Fantastic. And also we're advising a lot of embassies, so we're also working for the Lithuanian embassy, for example.
Okay.
So a wide range of international clients.
International, yes, exactly. So 7 minutes, 8 seconds remaining. Question number 2, what's the problem that you solve with regards to e-commerce?
Actually, we help clients to solve their problems with fakes. Most of the time, they have problems with infringement through fake online shops or fake products at online shops. Then we shut them down, and we also figure out who produced these fakes, where are the sources, who is behind that. And also we're doing in these circumstances then trademark registration, copyright registration, or actually more and more Chinese register trademarks from foreign brands called squatters. So then we try everything to cancel these trademarks here in China.
I understand. 6 minutes, 14 remaining. Question number 3. What are the typical symptoms that people experience when they have this problem of fakes?
Actually, they are not well prepared if they're coming to the Chinese market. I think this is the biggest issue because most of the times small and medium-sized companies, they have no IP strategy if they are coming to China. And they're thinking, oh, I have a registration in Europe or in the UK or wherever, and then I'm protected here. But in fact, they are not. And I think this is the biggest issue at all. And the second is a lack of market observation. A lot of companies don't pay money and time or efforts to observe the market frequently to take a look what's going on and what our competitors or infringers are doing here.
Right. Okay, so really a lack of preparation and awareness. So you've touched on the mistakes that people often make, but what mistakes, 5 minutes to go, question number 4, what are the common mistakes people make when they're trying to solve the problem themselves?
Yeah, actually, most of the time they have no language abilities. And if, for example, if you want to go in contact with Alibaba or Tmall or whoever, of course, you need to be able to forward documents not only in English, also to prepare this in Chinese. And a lot of companies in Europe, they have no staff who is qualified to do that. And also they didn't prepare sometimes the right materials. If it's later going forward, maybe you go to the trademark office or to the court because you need to notarize documents and things like that. And if you are not familiar with the preparation, especially of this kind of documents, you have no chance to prove evidence because nobody take it serious later.
Right. So it's a complex area, in fact. So
it is.
4 minutes, 5 seconds remaining, Daniel. Question number 5. What's one valuable free action that people checking out the podcast today can implement that will help them to solve this problem?
Actually, I would say prepare yourself and your activities so early as possible. The best is before you go to China and do some business in China. So if you visit an international exhibition in your own country or in a second country or in China, before, register your trademarks in China, register your IP in China. Otherwise, somebody will see it and register it for you, and then you get a big trouble if you want to do e-commerce business here in China later.
Right. And in fact, there have been some very famous cases of that, not just SMEs. So
big boards.
Yeah, big players. So 3 minutes, 13 remaining. Question number 6. What's one valuable free resource you can direct people to that will further help them with this problem?
No, actually, I would say we have from the European Union, the European SME Center. I'm also an external advisor there, and companies can approach them to get information about the market, about the trademark registration and e-commerce. And I think it is a very good institution. It's free of charge, very helpful and well-trained people. So it is a good first step to know more about the market in China.
Fantastic. And we'll put the link to that into the podcast. 2 minutes, 30 remaining. Question number 7. What concept or book or program or talk has been most impactful in your experience, Daniel?
Well, actually, for me, my, let's say, most important experience was to work for Chinese law firms, because during this time, I had got a feeling how Chinese companies function internal, and also how Chinese lawyers working and thinking. And this is from time to time a little bit different from our mindset. And that was, for me, maybe the most valuable experience during the last couple of years.
Oh, that must have been really eye-opening, I would imagine. And just 1 minute, 44 remaining, so quite a bit of time. We're good. Question number 8. What's the one question I should have asked you that I didn't, that you feel would give great value to our audience?
Actually, what are the differences between the Chinese and the European e-commerce market? So I think a lot of companies are not aware that we have no Amazon here, or let's say we have Amazon, but the market role is not dominant. It is a niche company here with market share about 1.something%. And that we have also other sources, not like YouTube. We have the UQ here, and we have Weibo and not Twitter. So if you want to do commercial activities, you need to be aware that there are other social media platforms where you need to present your products also. And I think a lot of companies, they don't know that, because they're coming and they are not so well prepared, because maybe also from outside of China, you don't get all this kind of information.
Okay. And then we've got 30 seconds left. So I'd just like to ask you another question, if it can be answered. Is there a ballpark as to how long it would take to obtain a trademark for one's company or sector?
Let's say in the moment during the COVID situation, it takes a little bit longer. If you apply for a trademark, to get through the whole registration process, it takes you about 12 to 16 months at the moment.
Okay, so very important for people to prepare prior to entering the market.
Exactly.
We finished with a mighty 4 seconds to go. So,
Not bad.
Perfect timing. So thank you so much for that, Daniel. That's really a great introduction so people can be aware of some of the pitfalls of coming into China. And if people want to reach out and talk to you directly, I presume they can do that through your LinkedIn profile, through WeChat. What is the best way to reach you?
For me, everything is possible because, of course, I'm checking also my LinkedIn nearly every day. So it's totally cool if they're doing this per WeChat. But, with WeChat, I'm a little bit concerned sometimes because if people calling or writing from overseas, quite often they forget the time difference and then you get messages in the night or whenever. So sometimes.
Fine, I get that too. So we'll put your LinkedIn link in the podcast, and thank you again so much for bringing us value in just 8 minutes.
Howard, it was a great pleasure with you. It was quite a lot of fun. Thank you so much for the nice interview, and let's hope we get a good feedback, right, of it.
Absolutely. Many thanks for checking out Wealth Without Borders podcast. I'd love you to head over to iTunes, subscribe, and leave us a review. And if you'd be kind enough to do that, I would really appreciate it. And then if you want to know more about what I do, check out wealthwithoutborders.net.